So if you've been online, maybe you've seen somebody dropping yarn about, you should really invest in your project management. That's really, the key to unlocking your company's productivity and whatnot. And maybe you're somewhat skeptical, right? And that's understandable. But what I want to kind of explain today is that really, project management is where your culture is really experienced by your employees, right? As much as you might talk about it, where they feel it or where they see it on a day-to-day basis is in the project management. So I mean, just as a small example, teams that talk about autonomy and self-determination and stuff tend to be closer to kind of Kanban mode of working, where they are the ones taking tasks to themselves, things like that. Whereas, like, if you see a team, they have like 6 month roadmaps, 12-month roadmaps, multi-year long strategy documents, Gantt charts, time tracking, like these sorts of things tend to correlate with less autonomy, right? And so it's also, I mean, some of these things can happen because you're told that this is the right way to do project management. It worked in another company, let me try it here. But I think sometimes it can take a long time to see that, oh no, like the way the project management is set up is not really um, doing what I wanted to do in terms of imbibing the culture, right? So it's just a couple from, I mean, I think it's just a couple of steps to kind of, if you want your project management to be in line with your values. First thing I would say is, like, understand your domain, right? And so, for example, there's, like, let's say, four domains: this simple, complicated, complex, and chaotic domain. And think of this more as like a space, right? Like, projects or domains move through these phases. So let's say, like, wireless communication, right? Like, it's chaotic or it's completely disorderly, is like nobody even understands what this is, like it's pure magic. Maybe then some people start sending smoke signals to each other, or using like lights or Morse code or something. Maybe that's like, oh, okay, like this is possible. Maybe somebody discovers radio waves and towers, and you get a few inventions like this. And then eventually it gets to the point where somebody, I mean, now we just pick up a phone and make a call, and is something that we take for granted, right? And so, like, understand your domain, I think, becomes important, because your company will not be able to be more organized than the domain in which you're operating, right? You're trying to cure cancer or something, like, it's that thing is going to be a certain degree of difficulty, and like you should not expect, like, trying to run, like, sprints to organize finding a cure for cancer is kind of, it won't work, essentially, right? The next phase becomes, okay, like, yes, you might be really on the cutting edge or whatever, but there are tasks in your organization that are somewhat stable and standard, right? Like, you have a payroll function, you have a uh, you know HR function, like these basic things, attendance management. So the thing is, yes, you're on the cutting edge, there's no need to necessarily reinvent the wheel everywhere. Like, just have a standard HR practice, just have standard policies, things like that. And so how you might think about, like, is my task, let's say, closer to being like very very new, or somewhat commoditized, right? Think of this as a spectrum from, like, something is very new, it's in genesis phase. Maybe it's something custom, is sort of in between. Product starts to become more commoditized, and then it's something is very stable, right? You can think about, maybe I'm building a feature. What is the user perception of that feature, right? Like, if it's dangerous, maybe it's more on the left. Dangerous or exciting. If it's something more standardized, it's more on the right, right? And you can sort of use this table to think, like, on a task by task basis, where am I at. And then finally it comes to, think about, like, really don't try to do a one size fits all model, where, like, the whole company will do Kanban, the whole company will do agile, or these sorts of things don't work, because, like, once you know that certain features or functions within your company are more novel or more new or more exciting, those people need to be given more leeway, because they need the space to kind of they're explorers, basically. And on the other end of the spectrum, like, your payroll thing or stuff like that should just work very very stably, right? So maybe the project management approach there is somewhat different. So yeah, I'll keep this board open, feel free to look around, there's links everywhere. I would say explore this a little bit. Read up a bit about Cinefin, and yeah, ping me on Twitter, ping me wherever you're seeing this. Be happy to chat in more detail. Thanks for watching.